Wow. So here's some big news. Okay, I'm gonna be completely honest here and you're not gonna believe me. When DC announced their plans a couple weeks ago for their upcoming movies and their cinematic universe, I was like, I should probably do a video on that, but I'm pretty sure Marvel's going to come back with an equally big hit and announce their future plans for upcoming movies, so I'm gonna lay off and not do a video just yet. That's real. That is seriously what I thought. And now, guess what? Here we are and it's happened. Marvel Studios has announced their schedule for their cinematic universe's Phase 3. So let's talk about all these upcoming superhero movies and how excited we are for all of them. And to set things straight, here's how I am about superheroes. I love superheroes, but I don't read comic books. I just don't. So what I mean is, I love superhero movies. I like watching people in costumes with awesome powers fighting the evils of the world. If I know something about these superheroes, like their storyline or something they can do, it's either because I read it online or I saw it in a cartoon TV show somewhere or a video game. Okay, now that the air's been cleared, let's talk about some awesome fucking stuff. Now, we already know that in 2015 we're gonna have Avengers Age of Ultron and Ant-Man. You know how pumped I am for Ultron, but for Ant-Man, I don't know, I'm gonna have to see a trailer. There's probably one coming soon. I love that Evangeline Lilly was cast for it, Tauriel from The Hobbit. She plays a character named Hope Van Dyne, but really, I just hope she's the Wasp. I think she'd be a great Wasp. But, moving on to 2016, in March we got Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice. Now, while I am just psyched to see Batman and Superman finally clashing, I do still have a couple of concerns. Wonder Woman and a few other DC characters are going to be in this movie, right? So I think this movie is going to be the one that introduces us, the audience, to the big DC cinematic universe. And it's gonna do that with these other heroes like Wonder Woman, Aquaman, Cyborg, etc. I'm pretty sure those are all just gonna be minor roles, and the main focus of the movie is going to be Batman, who we are already familiar with, versus Superman, who was introduced to us in Man of Steel. Then in May 2016, we have another Clash of the Titans with Captain America Civil War. It's Captain America versus Iron Man. Now, I understand that the Civil War storyline in the comics is freaking huge. It's more than just Cap and Iron Man, it's a bunch of Marvel heroes fighting against each other. But Cap and Iron Man are pretty much the leaders of these two groups. I imagine it'll be different in this movie, but it'll still be pretty awesome to see. So what will be the bigger fight, Batman versus Superman or Captain America versus Iron Man? Big question, but I guess we'll have to wait until 2016 to see. Not too much later, in August 2016, we got ourselves a Suicide Squad movie. Now, I've seen the Suicide Squad episode of Arrow, and I've seen Batman Assault on Arkham. I'm still not too sure what the whole gist of the Suicide Squad is. The only members I really know are Deadshot, never misses, and my favorite Batman villain, Harley Quinn. If Harley Quinn's going to be in this movie, color me super excited. Why do I love Harley Quinn so much? Because she's Bellatrix. She's the main villain's right-hand woman, and she is just out of her mind. Now, when it comes to casting, I have the perfect pick. Bear with me on this. I watched the first 3 seasons of Glee. In the 3rd season, there's a character named Sugar Mata who's played by Vanessa Lengies. Perfect Harley Quinn. She's the right age, she has a high squeaky voice, and she has the attitude. She's my pick for Harley. Take note of that. And lastly, in that year, in November 2016, we got Doctor Strange. This one's been confirmed for a while now, with Scott Derrickson on board to direct. I think it was going to be released in July before, but I guess it got pushed. I'm really looking forward to this one because he's always been a Marvel character that's intrigued me. He's the Sorcerer Supreme. He's a master of magic. Mysterio's got nothing on this guy. When it comes to casting on this guy, my top pick has always been Benedict Cumberbatch. I just think the guy who plays the super genius Sherlock, the fierce villain Khan, and the greatest dragon of all time Smaug would be a really good choice. Now he's entered final negotiations with Marvel Studios to play the character, and that gets me excited. He's not confirmed yet, but when and if he is, I'm gonna go nuts. Nevertheless, Doctor Strange, November 2016. Okay, moving on to 2017, starting in May, we have the as of yet untitled Guardians of the Galaxy sequel. It's not gonna be called Guardians of the Galaxy 2, there's gonna be a subtext. Now, so far, Guardians of the Galaxy is actually my favorite of Marvel's Phase 2 movies, as you can see behind me. I'm gonna reveal some spoilers here, so I'm gonna have the spoiler warning at the bottom of the screen until I stop. If you haven't seen it yet, you can mute your computer or something until you see this warning go away. Okay, at the end of Guardians of the Galaxy, we found out that the reason Peter Quill didn't just explode when he used the orb to defeat Ronan was because he's only half human. His father was actually part of some ancient unknown species of some kind. I imagine that's gotta be pretty important, so I think that's the direction they're gonna go in the sequel. I have no idea who Peter Quill's father is supposed to be, so it'll be a surprise for me. Okay, spoilers are over. The next month, June 2016, is gonna see our solo Wonder Woman movie, and to that I say, it's about damn time. I have wanted to see Wonder Woman kicking ass in her own movie for the longest time, and in about a year and a half, it's finally gonna happen. I've seen her in the old Justice League cartoon, and I've actually seen a couple episodes of the old Linda Carter TV show. Seriously, I have. With today's technology, a solo Wonder Woman movie can be seriously awesome if they can find a good director for it. for it. I don't want Zack Snyder to direct everything DC does. 1 month later, in July 2016, we have Thor's third movie, Thor Ragnarok. This is what I've heard the fans want to see the most in the God of Thunder's third solo flick, so now they get their wish. I didn't know the first thing about who Ragnarok even was until I looked it up after the announcement. Apparently, Ragnarok is a cyborg clone of Thor. Hey, that's awesome. Kevin Feige, the president of Marvel Studios, explained to the audience during the announcement that Ragnarok actually translates to the end of all things. So I guess this movie is just going to lay everything down on the line and make things really, really dire for the Asgardian Avenger. Cool. Then in November 2017, about 3 years from now, it's Black Panther's first movie. This is awesome because I think Black Panther was a badass in the Avengers cartoon. T'Challa, he's the leader of a tribe in a fictional African country called Wakanda, which is actually where vibranium comes from. He's got super senses, Olympic level strength, speed, and agility, and a super cool outfit. And it was also announced who will play him, Chadwick Boseman. Awesome choice. The dude played Jackie Robinson in 42 and James Brown in Get On Up, and he was fantastic in both films. The guy's a really good actor, so I'm really happy he was chosen to be T'Challa. 2 weeks after that, still in November 2017, we got Justice League Part 1. Finally, we get to see DC's team of superheroes in a live-action movie. It's weird though, because the only DC superheroes we'll have been introduced to at that point are Wonder Woman, Batman, and Superman. That's fine with me because they are the top 3 members of the team. I think establishing just the top 3 members of the team before the movie comes out is completely fine. Look at it this way, Black Widow and Hawkeye didn't need to be established in their own movies before the Avengers. Turns out they're both pretty awesome characters. So Justice League Part 1 is looking pretty good for me. Okay, now it's 2018. Starting in March, we have the Flash movie. This might be a bit of a problem. I've been watching the Flash TV show, I did a video on the pilot, and since the pilot, it's only been getting better. Grant Gustin is well on his way to becoming the snarky shit-talker the Flash was in the old cartoon. In early 2018, if the show's still going on, it will be nearing the end of its 4th season. By that point, if the show stays good, we'll have grown very attached to Grant Gustin as Barry Allen. Now there's this new guy, Ezra Miller, and we're just supposed to hop on board with him? Honestly, I don't think he looks like the Flash. He looks like a snarky shit-talker, but I just don't see the Flash in him. We'll see though, I guess. A couple months later, in May 2018, we have Avengers Infinity War Part 1. This is something I'm really excited for. We have known for a while now that Thanos is the end-all be-all villain of the Marvel Cinematic Universe ever since we saw him at the end credits of the Avengers back in 2012. And we got to see more of him recently in Guardians of the Galaxy. Finally, in about 2.5 years from now, he is just going to destroy everything with the Infinity Gauntlet. I know a thing or two about the Infinity Gauntlet storyline in the comics. This glove-type thing can literally warp time, space, reality, etc. if it has all the Infinity Stones in it. In the Marvel Cinematic Universe, we know of a few Infinity Stones already. The Tesseract, the Ether, the Orb, and Loki's Scepter. Yes, Loki's Scepter has now officially been confirmed as one of the Infinity Stones. Somehow Thanos is just going to get a hold of all the Infinity Stones and just destroy the universe. How in the hell are the Avengers going to take this guy down? I have no idea at all whatsoever. Moving right along, in early July 2018, we have Captain Marvel. This is interesting. Captain Marvel's been a few different people in Marvel lore. The one they're going with is Carol Danvers. Now there are rumors that she was going to show up in Age of Ultron, but I guess that's no longer the case. But I've always known the Carol Danvers character as Miss Marvel. Again, in the cartoon, she's badass. I guess Captain Marvel would be a better title than Miss Marvel if you want to sell more tickets. I think more people who are unfamiliar with the character would be more attracted to a movie called Captain Marvel than a movie called Miss Marvel. It's gonna be weird though because I'm so used to calling her Miss Marvel. I'm curious to see who they're gonna cast in that lead role as well. I'm looking forward to hearing. And in late July 2018, DC will be giving us an Aquaman film starring Jason Momoa. Okay, I don't watch Game of Thrones, but from what I've heard, the guy is a complete savage. I may be wrong, I don't know. I have no idea what kind of Aquaman that Warner Brothers is going for here, but this is some pretty freaking weird casting. Aquaman is supposed to be the king of Atlantis. I actually remember seeing him on Smallville. He was a pretty cool character in there. Seeing him in his own movie and on his own turf should be pretty cool, but I am just nervous about the casting. Ending 2018, in November, Marvel brings us Inhumans. This is the one I know least about. Seriously, I know nothing at all about the Inhumans except for one thing. One of the members is named Black Bolt, and he's got a hypersonic voice. That means if he even whispers, it'll shatter glass and then some. I have no idea how Marvel's gonna pull this one off. Then again, that's exactly what I said when they first announced they were doing Guardians of the Galaxy back in 2012. If that's any implication, I think it'll be alright. I think we'll grow more familiar with the concept as the release date gets closer. Okay, 2019. This is like 5 years from now. Starting off in April 2019 is DC's Shazam. This is a weird concept. He's a little 12-year-old boy who can transform into this big adult superhero. The villain for this movie has already been cast. It's Dwayne Johnson. I have yet to see him be really good in a movie. But there are a few good child actors that DC can find to play a good Billy Batson. I hope they'll pick a good one. Then in May 2019, it's Avengers Infinity War Part 2. I don't think Captain Marvel or Inhumans are going to interfere with this Infinity War thing. If it goes the way I think and hope it'll go, Avengers Infinity War Part 1 will end on a huge freaking cliffhanger. Then Captain Marvel and Inhumans will happen, and they will have nothing to do with it at all. Maybe they'll take place in a different time or something. Then we'll get Infinity War Part 2, and it'll pick up up right where part 1 left off. I don't know for sure, this is just one fan's opinion. I can say though that this is probably going to be the most epic Marvel movie ever. Following that, in June of 2019 is Justice League Part 2. So not only do we get the climactic Avengers movie in 2019, but we also get the climactic Justice League movie just a month later? How am I going to live through this without my head just exploding from so much epic? So between the 2 Justice League films, we'll have been introduced to The Flash, Shazam, and Aquaman. Considering that, I don't know if Part 1 will be ending on a cliffhanger. There's not much I can say about Part 2 at all, really, until we know more about Part 1. All I know is that summer of 2019 is just gonna be the biggest one ever. So after all of that, after the end of Avengers Infinity War and the end of Justice League, we still have 2 more movies in the year of 2020. First is Cyborg in April 2020. Now I remember seeing the character Cyborg Victor Stone in Smallville. I actually love that episode. It was a good one. A really good one actually. So just going on that alone, because that is literally all I know Cyborg from. I heard he was in Teen Titans, but I never watched that. I'm down to see what the character can do on his own. And the last movie we know of right now in June 2020 is Green Lantern. I'm pretty sure I know why this is the latest one to be announced. The film that came out in 2011 was not awesome. In fact, I think Ryan Reynolds could be better as the Flash. I think I could buy that actually. I'm just really glad that he's going to be Deadpool now. As for Green Lantern, I think this story can be told really well, it just hasn't been yet. DC can learn from the mistakes they made in 2011, right? If Sinestro is not the main villain in this movie, I'm going to be extremely disappointed. So make it happen, Warner Brothers. Okay, so there you have it. Those are my thoughts on all 21 upcoming films that Marvel and DC have planned for us. Holy fucking shit. I know this is going way too far into the future here. We don't know where we're gonna be in the year 2018. But hey, Marvel and DC both dared to go that far. I just can't believe it, man. I mean, there's so much to look forward to now. So of all these upcoming films, which ones are you excited for? Which ones are you holding back on? Whatever you think of all of this, go ahead and leave a comment. And don't forget to subscribe.